Hey, I want to talk to you for just a moment about affirmation, validation, permission, all of those things. So, when you were growing up, you should have received validation, affirmation, approval, all of those things. But what happens when you're this age and you didn't get those things? Do they hinder you? Does it hinder you? Does it keep you from moving forward? I want to talk to you about releasing those things so that you can truly move forward in the things that God has called you to do. You know, there are leaders that should have recognized the gifts that were within you, the calling that was on your life. They should have recognized that you had talent in a particular area, and they should have done something to help to grow and develop you. But they didn't. So what do you do now? You realize and understand that they simply just didn't have the capacity. That's neither here nor there. We have to forgive that and move on, because looking back into the past is just like trying to drive a car when you're looking in the rearview mirror. You're going to crash. Something's not going to go right. So release that. And now I want to know, what are you going to do going forward? God has already approved you. He's already confirmed what's on your life. He's already validated you from before he even formed you in your mother's womb. You were validated, affirmed, approved. You were given permission to do what he's called you to do. So many times we look at what was said or not said and we blame those people. But when that limitation is lifted, who's there to blame now? So many times in our own minds, we fail to let those things go because it's easier to blame somebody else instead of taking the responsibility on our own. I'm going to tell you about a little illustration story that may help you to understand this whole picture, the whole idea. There were these fish, a school of fish, honestly, who were that were contained within this underwater cage, and this cage was huge, but it was tiny in comparison to in relation to the ocean in which it was contained. So the fish within this cage, huge cage, could go far left, they could go far right, they could go forward, back, and then they had a certain height to which they could ascend. And of course, you have the floor of the ocean. One day, this cage was removed. The boundaries, the borders, the constriction, the box that these fish were contained in was removed. What do you think these fish did? They only went so far left, so far right, so far forward, and so far back. They only went so high because they were conditioned in their mind that the constrictions, the constraints, the permission to go forth in their mind was still there. The need for all those things was still there. Even though you have been made free, God has set you free. He's given you all the permission that you need. He's given you all the approval that you need. In your mind, you're still looking for permission. I'm telling you today, you already have all the permission that you need to just go be great. So what are you going to do with it? Just go be great.